Let's get into some things of the things, child. We got some stuff to talk about today, honey. We got some stuff to talk about. Hit that like button. If you are new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We have a great time over here. You meant what you said when you said it. Really be as bad, because I'll be understanding y'all sometimes. And when y'all know when I say y'all, you know I ain't talking about y'all. I'm talking about y'all. It makes me that all these people that got something to say have been actively involved in the political process in their world. I don't believe it. You ain't gonna convince me. I know y'all love me. Good morning. Happy Saturday, everybody. Happy Saturday. We, as the preacher man say, I won't be before you long, but I was compelled this morning to get up. I did a short last night before I went to bed, but I still got some things to say. Okay, I still have some things to say. Y'all know, tell nephew I said, hey, yes, we know it's Autism Awareness Month, and I want to say, was it Thursday or Friday, or it was a day of awareness. Tell nephew I said, what's up? Yeah, honey, I got my brown lips on today, and I got on my 92% shirt because this is that kind of day. It's just that kind of a day. So listen, first of all, let me start from the beginning and work my way forward. I told y'all that I have been a Dawn Staley stan since she played at the University of Virginia. So we're talking about probably over 20 years of me following this woman's career, me being a fan of Dawn Staley. Okay. With that being said, I have a little insight. I'm not saying that y'all don't have it, but I'm saying the average casual observer who just saw what happened last night may not have, right? So for those who don't know what I'm talking about, last night, South Carolina Gamecocks played the UConn Huskies in the Final Four for the to see who was going to play in the national championship for college women's basketball. Okay, now UConn is probably the winningest. Not probably. UConn is the winningest women's basketball program in history. Full stop. Gino is the winningest women's basketball coach in history. Full stop. That's a fact. That's just that. That's a fact. And nothing he did last night is going to erase that. That's a fact. Okay. Now, actually, it's funny because some friends that I went to high school with actually played for Gino and won a national championship. For Gino, they went on to, when we graduated from high school, they went to UConn, yada yada yada. And, you know, everybody has an opinion, right? Last year, South Carolina played UConn for the national championship. And Dawn Staley and the South Carolina Gamecocks got their asses handed to them. Lost by 30 points. Lost by 30 points. When the game was over, Gino gave Dawn a big old bear hug. I have the video. I'll show you a video clip of it. Gave her a big old bear hug. And she hugged him. And in her post-conference interview, she said, they beat our butts. We got our butts handed to us. Like, there's no, I'm not going to make an excuse. I'm not going to come up with any. We got our butts handed to us. That's it. That's all. Gave him his flowers. Gave him his things. I told y'all last week when the Elite Eight, when Dawn played last weekend, I told y'all when she won and I knew she was playing UConn, what did I tell y'all? I said, whoo, I'm a little nervous for that game because of what happened last year, and UConn is a good team. I said, but what I know is for people like Dawn Staley, she has had that headline in her office all year, and that has been her fuel. Did I not tell y'all that? I said, Dawn has been looking at that headline, looking at how much she lost in that championship game last year, and that has been her fuel for this season. I told y'all that. I promised, and I told y'all that. Last night I was live, and I was watching the game. The game was on in the background the whole time I was live, right? And when I said, I got to get off of here, because that's when it started getting tight, and I was like, I got to get off of here. I got to get off of here. I got to finish watching this game. And Halfpin, I don't know if you hear the bushes, boo. If you hear, you can drop down. Halfpin said to me, she said, because I was behind in the game. I wasn't in real time. I was behind. She said, make sure you pay attention to his third quarter comments. Because, at the end of every quarter, they talk to the coaches and they say, hey, what's going on? What do you think you need to do? How are you going to adjust? How are you going to finish the game? That kind of thing. She said, pay close attention to what Geno said in his third quarter comments. So I already knew it was some shenanigans. Going on. So I did. And there seems to have been a situation where a jersey was ripped. And he blamed South Carolina players for it, that his player's jersey was ripped. She has admitted that she ripped her own jersey. So number one, if nothing else, you owe Dawn and her team an apology for insinuating that they were out there ripping up people's clothes, because that's not what happened. And your player has admitted that she did it. She was frustrated and she ripped her own jersey. She said that. When the game ended last night, and as is customary, anybody who has ever played team sports, I don't care if you played track, volleyball, maybe not track, any type of team sport, you know that it's customary that you shake the other team's hand. Win, lose, or draw. You shake the other team's hand. That is good sportsmanship. That is what you do. So she went over to shake his hand, and he refused. Not only did he refuse to shake her hand, but whatever he said to her set her off. Let me explain something about Dawn Staley. Dawn Staley is passionate, but she's slow to anger. Passion and anger ain't the same thing. She's passionate. You'll see her on the sideline being passionate. You'll see her on the sideline cussing sometimes. You'll see her on the sideline, she's passionate, but she's slow to anger. She was angry immediately. Like whatever he said, it boom. And if y'all could read lips, like I could read a little bit of them lips, baby, she told him she would whoop his ass. If I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. She said that a couple of times, that she whoop his ass. I don't know what that white man said to her, where she said that she would whoop his ass. But people forget that Dawn is from Philly. Don't let the sweet disposition and her belief in her, her faith, don't let the smooth taste fool you. Baby, she's from Philly. And she's had to be a scrapper her whole life. And she told that, she said, I'll whoop your ass. I said, what did that man say to her? And then we saw where some other things she said, I would never do that shit. That's not who I am. I would never do that shit. That's what I saw. The problem was I couldn't read his lips because his back, the way the camera angle was, his back was to us, which might have been calculated too. So we don't know what he said to her. We saw her reaction. And because we know, those of us who are Dawn Staley fans, we know that it had to be bad to set her off that quickly on that level. So according to Dawn, hold on, let me put the comments on the screen. According to what Geno said that Dawn did not shake his hand before the game. Now, there is footage floating around showing where she literally did shake his hand before the game. But he said, no, that's not the handshake I'm talking about. I'm talking about it's customary that the two head coaches shake in the middle of the court. And I waited for her for 3 minutes and she didn't shake my hand. So let's start at the beginning and work our way forward. Number one, she shook your hand. So she didn't shake your hand in the way you wanted her to shake your hand or in the way that you feel is customary to shake her hand. Let me ask you a question, Gino. Has Dawn always met you in the middle of the court and shook your hand before a game? Has that always happened? And if the answer is yes, then I take you back to, well, damn, something must have gone on. Maybe there was a situation going on in their locker room. Maybe she had to talk to a player. Maybe she has a situation that she had to do because she already shook my hand once. And she shook everybody's hand on my team, on my squad, on my coaching staff. She shook everybody's hand down the line. So if she didn't shake my hand at mid-court like she always does, because you said that that's what's customary, which means that she's always done it in the past, correct? I'm just using your logic here, Gino. If she's always done it in the past and she didn't do it last night, then why wouldn't the thought be, damn, what's going on over in South Carolina's or South Carolina's bench that's preventing her from doing what she's always done? See, that's what I would have been thinking. I would have been thinking, damn, she's always met me at half court and shook my hand because that's customary. That's what always happens. So if she didn't do it tonight, there must have been something happening. Which means that what I would have thought is at the end of the game, you would have said, hey, is everything good? Because I was waiting for you. Or you could have done it at halftime. You could have walked up to her at halftime and said, hey, girl. You probably shouldn't call her girl, though, because you're a white man. That's probably not good. But you could have said, hey, Dawn. What happened, boo? At the beginning of the game, I was waiting for you. You ain't come through. What's good? But you didn't do that because that's not what you was fucking mad about. Now, let's also add to this. Let's put a little bit more in this pot. Let's stir this pot up. The chef is here. Don is here. Don, let's add a little bit more to this pot. Gino, you know Don. You have known Dawn Staley for 20 years, 20 plus years probably. And I don't mean no because they run around. They're both coaches. She was a player. I don't mean no like that. I mean Dawn Staley played for you, sir. She was on Team USA when you were on the coaching staff for Team USA. She played for you. You know this woman. She was an assistant coach for you in the Rio Olympics when you were the head coach for the women's U.S. Olympic team. You know this woman. This isn't some fluke. This isn't some random, oh, I think I heard I might know. And since she's been a head coach in college basketball, y'all have played against each other numerous times. Every year since she's been the head coach of South Carolina, y'all have met every year. So you mean to tell me, he's her mentor, right? So you mean to tell me that this woman who you know on a personal level, you know her, you felt like she purposely disrespected you because she didn't meet you at half court to shake your hand? And you felt like the best way to handle it was the way you handled it last night? See, this ain't about, and we know what it's about, y'all, but we got to slow walk it. We got to slow walk it because we know what this is about. This is about the audacity for the mentee to outplay the mentor. This is about the audacity for this little black girl from Philadelphia to beat this affluent white man from Philadelphia. Because that's the other thing. They're both from Philly. They're both from Philadelphia. That's what it's about. This is about the audacity that her team outbeat his team. Because that's what happened last night. That wasn't no fluke. They didn't get lucky. They outplayed UConn, and they beat them. And they broke UConn's 55-game winning streak. That's what that was about last night. How dare you? Because he was looking past South Carolina because he thought this was going to be a replay from last year. Because what you didn't know, what you didn't expect was that Dawn was going to adjust and be ready for your ass. Now, I'm going to let y'all hear, and I thought this was one of the best breakdowns of what happened last night. I loved it in real time. I'm going to let y'all hear what, and I don't want to mispronounce this young lady's name, so I'm going to let y'all hear it because I don't want to mispronounce her name. That was doing the commentating last night. And this is what she had to say.
Okay, join us now.
Hold on.
Ladies, as you heard, when I spoke with Andrea Carter, Shanae Ogwumike, join us.
Shanae Ogwumike.
Ladies, as you heard, when I spoke with Dawn, I didn't start with that because I wanted to show her and her team the respect of the accomplishment because that's what I feel like we should talk about. And I'd love to start there with you, but you guys understand that the conversation is about what we just heard Gino say. And, I mean, this is a guy that's done legendary stuff, but to me, this is just not a look that's acceptable. I don't get it. I'm interested in, maybe Shanae, I see you're nodding. I'd give you the first crack at this. What would you say?
Yeah, we have seen, Drea and I, multiple college basketball games at this level and caliber in the Final Four. And I've never seen one with more intensity and more tension. You could cut the air with a knife. Now, given that, the reality is Gino Auriemma, we all know and respect that he's the all-time winningest coach in college basketball history. He's gone to 25 Final Fours. He's won 12 national championships. I respect that. But regardless, based off of what we saw, he talked about the truth. The truth is that what he did was extremely problematic, in my opinion. And it was a buildup of things being problematic, starting with Sarah Strong. He called out the fact that Sarah Strong's jersey was torn, but she was actually doing it self-inflicted. She was the one who tore it. And then I've never seen a circumstance in the middle of a quarter where you call out an opposing coach and just say that you're frustrated and sort of looking that way, you know, leering over there. That to me was another problem. But last but not least, catching Dawn at the end of the game off guard and confronting her with the handshake. Like all of this because she didn't shake your hand. Time and time again, we see Dawn Staley rise to the occasion, take the high road. And I do know he mentioned this double standard in some of his comments. The double standard is if Dawn acted that way, it would probably be a completely different conversation. And so to me, it was really difficult because in this moment where you had a team, I mean, this game was blood, sweat, and tears. People were fighting. Mind you, if you watch the first 10 minutes of the game, UConn was the one applying the pressure. UConn was the one that was physical. South Carolina were the ones that were on their heels. The reality is that unfortunately, this was not Gino's best moment. It was a moment that I never saw coming, but he should be, you know, held. He's the one who has to be responsible for explaining his actions.
Yeah, SVP, I have a lot of thoughts on this, but the first thing that comes to my mind, and as I was re-listening to what Gino said, is how hypocritical it is. Like, he is so frustrated with Coach Staley for apparently breaking these protocols pregame, but he breaks protocols postgame. He doesn't shake the South Carolina players' hands. He doesn't shake her staff. He doesn't go through the line like everybody does after any game. You go through the line and you say good game. South Carolina played so well. They deserved him going through that line, Gino Auriemma, and telling them that they did a good job. So these pregame protocols that were broken, he did the same apparently broken. He did the same exact thing post-game, breaking protocols that he has done time after time. That's frustrating for me. Truly, to me, I feel like and maybe this is giving Gino too much credit, but I feel like this was a little calculated because, like you said, SVP, instead of sitting here talking about the absolute master class of a coaching job that Coach Staley did with this group.
So here's the thing, and I know y'all, we have the tape of them shaking hands pre-game, but what he's saying is she was supposed to meet him at half court. And there was some protocol that they shake hands at half court before the game. And he waited for her for 3 whole minutes. And she didn't show up. And if the sad part is he doubled down post at the end of post interview, he doubled down on it. He walked off the court. So not only did he not shake Dawn Staley's hand, he didn't shake any of the players on the other side. He didn't tell any of them good game. So like the young lady just said, so you're mad at Dawn Staley for what you claim is a violation of protocol, but then you violated the protocol that we all know, because none of us know about this protocol about meeting at half court and shaking hands, but we all know about the protocol about at the end of the game, everybody shakes the hand and they go down the line. We all know that protocol. We see it everywhere. We see it at football, basketball, football. We see it all the time. Volleyball. We see it all the time. But this in your mind protocol, and again, the protocol might really exist. And maybe Dawn Staley didn't meet you at half court, but she did shake your hand, sir. So because she didn't do it the way you wanted her to do it, it doesn't count. See what I'm saying? So because you didn't do it the way I wanted you to do it, it doesn't matter that you shook my hand. You didn't shake my hand the way I wanted you to shake my hand, sir. And this is what I love. This is what I love about what's going on right now. I love that this is the headline. Hold on. I took a screenshot of it. I love that this is the headline. UConn coach refuses to shake hands with South Carolina coach after their screaming match at Women's Final Four semifinal. Now, first of all, let me take that back. I like the first part of that. I don't like the screaming match because it wasn't no screaming match. She cussed him out. It wasn't no screaming match. Because screaming, again, I feel like makes it a woman thing because men don't scream, right? So I do think, so my bad. I like the first part. I like the fact that the headline is reading that he disrespected her and not she did something to him. Let me say that. Because it wasn't no screaming match. She cussed his ass out. It had to be held back. Now, Gino didn't shake Dawn's hand, but you know whose hand Gino did shake? And Deion Sanders posted a picture of it on his social media. You know whose hand he did shake? The white woman's hand on Dawn's staff. He did. He shook her hand. Sure did. That tall white woman, he shook her hand. And Deion Sanders posted it on his social media to show that he shook the white woman's hand, but he didn't shake Dawn's hand. This was about male fragility. This was about ego. This was about how dare you master me. Probably some misogyny. No, not probably. Some misogyny. And absolutely, if Dawn had done to him, what can you imagine what the headlines would be right now if Dawn Staley had done that to him last night or last year when she lost by 30 points? Can you imagine what the headline would be if Dawn Staley refused to shake that man's hand at the end of that game? Can you imagine? You right, Tawanda, you right. So I just wanted to come down and what I love is that Dawn, she, of course the reporters asked her that question. She answered the question, but she said, but I'm not going to take away this moment from my players. I'm not going to allow this moment to be about that. I'm going to allow this moment to be about my players, about what they did and what they accomplished and how proud I am of them. That's what I'm going to allow this moment to be about. I'm not going to allow this moment to be about that. And I respect that. But Dawn is a class act. I just love me some Dawn. Y'all just know I love that woman. Now, y'all always ask me about who I would fan out. I think I would fan out about meeting Dawn Staley. I think I would have a moment. Not as big of a moment as if I ever met Whoopi Goldberg, but definitely a little bit of a moment. And I started to go to when she was doing her book tour. The only problem with those book tours is it'd be too much. I told y'all, not knowing where I'm going to be gives me anxiety. Like, I don't like having to show up early to something to get a seat. I don't like that. Like y'all, I know y'all laugh at me a lot about, I'll pay extra money for certain things. Y'all call me bougie. It's not, some of it's not me being bougie. Well, I'm not bougie, but some of it is, I just don't like that. I don't like not knowing where I'm going to be. That gives me anxiety to show up somewhere and I don't know where I'm going to sit. I don't like it. I don't like it. And anybody who's ever been somewhere with me before, when I don't know where we going, what's the direction, what's going on, I'll ask 20 different questions. I get real antsy. I don't like it. So stuff like book signings and stuff like that, unless you pay like for the VIP situation where you have a guaranteed seat or a guaranteed time slot to get a book signed or something like that, you just in line. It's just, and if it's organized well, then it's not a problem. But when it's not organized well, it gives me anxiety. I don't like it. And that's why, honestly, when it comes to certain things, that's why I will pay extra. Like when, like for example, when I went to see Kempire, the second time I was a guest, but the first time when I bought a ticket, I bought a VIP ticket because those were the only guaranteed seats. I don't like just coming in and hoping I get a seat and not knowing where I'm gonna sit, and I don't like it. I just don't like it. So I paid for the VIP because I knew it was a guaranteed seat. And I know sometimes people are like, you just like VIP. No, I just like knowing where I'm going to be. You know what I'm saying? I just like knowing where I'm going to be. So, yeah. I'm not bougie. Shut up, Tracy. I'm 1 degree of separation from Dawn. My cousin is one of the chefs for the team. Baby, oh yes, get your introduction. Shout out to the chef for the team. Yeah, I don't mind paying a little extra from it. So stuff like that, like when Tracy and her sister, they came down to go to Ketanji Brown Jackson's book signing, and I was like, oh, I want to go. But the more I thought about it, the more I was like, I'm good. That's it. I pay for peace of mind. And if I can't afford that, I either go and deal with what I'm going to, and know I have to deal with that potential, or I don't go. So when she did her book tour, I thought about it and I was like, ugh. And then the tickets were selling out so fast. It was like I really didn't have time to hesitate and think about it. You know what I mean? I had to, and I didn't do it. Yeah. I get it that way too, especially if I have the coins to pay for comfort. Yeah. Yeah. So that's me. That's just me. But yeah, I was pissed last night, so I did a real quick short, and then I woke up this morning, and again, I'm glad that it seems like public opinion is defending Dawn Staley and against Gino, because so often it's the other way around. So often we get people trying to explain away, defend, quantify his behavior, the white man's behavior. You know what I'm saying? So I like the fact that that's not what's happening. I like the fact that people are like, no, she shook your hand. And again, even if she didn't, the way you handled it was just not appropriate. Even if she didn't shake your hand, which Dawn Staley shake. Do y'all know? Dawn Staley shakes the people at the score table, the people taking the stats. She shakes everybody's hand. Have y'all ever seen her do that? She shakes everybody's hand. So for you to really sit there and act like this woman disrespected you, no, sir, your ego disrespected you last night. And what kind of an example do you set, or are you setting for your players? Because you then forced because I should have saved it. I didn't save it. I watched it on TikTok. I should have saved it. You then put your players in a position. Now this young lady has to go up there after you said the South Carolina team ripped her jersey and so aggressive. And now she got to go up there and say, yeah, no, I did that. And you could tell the way she said it. You know? But now you don't put her in a position where now she has to say, no, I did that. Right now, Brown Mama, that's a good question. Had they won the game, would he gave a damn about that imaginary handshake? Good question. Sarah Strong. Okay, yeah, that was the young lady. Uh-huh. He owes her an apology, and his apology needs to be as loud as his disrespect. Don't call her on the phone. Don't have no private conversation. Don't do that. Get on your social media. I'm sure even if he doesn't have a personal Instagram, I'm sure UConn women's basketball has an Instagram account. Get on social media and you apologize to that woman on the level that you disrespected her. You apologize to her the same way you disrespected her. Because you owe her that. Do not call her and give her a private apology. No, absolutely not. And Dawn, because she's as gracious as she is, she will take it. Well, I don't know. She was mad last night. Maybe not. I don't want to speak for her. I don't want to speak for Dawn because Dawn was mad as hell last night. She might not. I don't know. Y'all think Dawn will take his phone call? I think Dawn will take his phone call. I think Dawn will take his phone call. Mm-hmm. She's so nice and gracious. No, Chuck said I need an ESPN special for the caliber of apology needed. I agree. That's why I said let the apology. Y'all know how I feel about apologies and disrespect. Let the apology be as loud as the disrespect was. She'll take the phone call because of their history. Yeah, that's why I think she would take the phone call. But again, that apology is for us. We need to know the apology and we need to see and hear the apology for us. Because when you disrespected Dawn, we all felt some kind of way. Because, baby, we ride for Dawn Staley. We ride for Dawn. When I say we, I'm talking about me and everybody else. If it ain't you, I ain't talking about you. I'm talking about me and everybody that ride for Dawn. And Dawn has dealt with some of the biggest disrespect for some of these white coaches. Because let's not forget, LSU's head coach has made some real, backhanded comments at Dawn Staley as well. She made a comment about basically taking away Dawn Staley's skill as a coach. Talking about, well, I mean, when you're starting five were All-American, well, McDonald's All-Americans, I mean, what am I supposed to do with that? You supposed to fucking coach because you have the same recruiting ability that she has. Let's not act like LSU hasn't. They won the championship and they've been in the Final Four and everything in the last 8 years. You got the same chances of recruiting these young ladies as Dawn does. I'm sure Dawn don't get every recruit she goes after, but what she does get, she coaches the hell out of those girls. That wasn't LSU. That wasn't LSU that she gave the perfume. That was Southern. That was Southern. And then she beat their ass. But look, she gave those young ladies perfume, and then she beat the hell out of them. I said, damn, Dawn, you can take the brakes on. I mean, you can put the brakes on. Baby, you are beating these girls' ass. You done gave them this Louis Vuitton perfume, and then you done beat their ass. Dawn, you can put the brakes on now. I said, damn, Dawn. I was watching that game. I felt bad for them girls. She beat them girls' ass, baby. But that's the game. Yeah, for Wally left and went to LSU, I think she thought that was gonna make Dawn feel some kind of way. But baby, who's playing Sunday and who's sitting at home watching the game? Oh. And let's be clear, every coach ain't for everybody. Just because I love Dawn, every coach ain't for everybody. For Wally and Dawn, they ain't mesh. She thought that she would be better, and she did play better this year. She played better this year. And we can, I mean, I'm not going to do it here, but we can break down the elements of why she played better, but she played better this year for LSU, but she's still sitting at home. Do I think that Miss Danny said, do I think that he did this to overtake the news cycle? I think he did it to distract. Yeah, I do. Do I think he was that calculated to say, if I cause a problem, then nobody will talk about the loss? Maybe. But I honestly think he was just pissed. I think his ego was bruised and he was mad. Honestly, I don't know how calculated that thought was, but I think that at the end of the day, I think his feelings were hurt. His ego was bruised. And because again, UConn had a 55 game winning streak. Do you know how many years that breaks down to in college basketball? 55. Right. That was funny. Yeah, that was funny when she said they were booing me. I thought they were saying boo. Hey, boo. Right. She left South Carolina, thought that LSU was going to be the one, and now she's sitting at home watching the game. Oh, well. Look. But I do think, and to a certain extent, he's right, because this is what we're talking about, right? I'm about to get off here in a few minutes because I'm about to head out. I told you I wasn't going to be here long, but I just wanted to have a further conversation. I just wanted to put a little bit more context into it and add a little bit more to it. But I do think that he just thought he was going to win that game, and I think his emotions got the best of him, and he behaved badly, and he just needs to fucking apologize. Instead of doubling down, he just needs to fucking apologize. I'm not going to be gone long. I'm about to call JB because he never texted me back last night. So I do not know what time we're going to do Beyond the Gates, but I'm not going to be out long. I'm probably going to be out maybe about an hour or so, unless I run into something interesting. And then I'll be home. So we're going to do today. I'm going to try to get you guys Beyond the Gates, Bell Collective, and Love and Marriage Huntsville, because tomorrow's Easter and I'm not going to church tomorrow, but I am going over to my parents' house, and I'm gonna watch the game at my parents' house with my dad and have dinner over there. So I don't have a time, but it will be on my channel. So just have your notifications on. It's my turn to host. So have your notifications on. Don't forget to get your ticket. The tickets are still on sale. Early bird is still going on until April the 15th for our July 18th event with author Dee Cummings. Look forward to seeing you guys there. I appreciate all of you who've already purchased tickets. And again, if you you can't come, but you want to sponsor somebody, you want to buy a ticket for somebody, by all means, you can do that as well. And I definitely have some people that I can, give a ticket to come to the event. Don't forget, we have 2 trips that are already locked and loaded. We have cruise in February, going to the Caribbean. Right now, the itinerary is Haiti. It's probably going to change. It's probably a 90% percentage point that's going to change, but it is going to the Caribbean. It's a 4-day cruise on Royal Caribbean. And then we are doing a 7-day cruise in August to Alaska. So with that being said, you guys, reach out to me if you need any information on any of those things, the link to buy your tickets, the information to book your cruise. Let me know. We got a lot going on over here, you guys. A lot of moving parts. And I thank you guys in advance. And I'll see y'all a little bit later on, okay? Mwah. Peace.